Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at AutoNation Honda in Clearwater, and guess what? I have the talk of the town when it comes to Honda SUVs. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is a 2026 redesign Honda Passport. This particular one is the mid-grade known as the Passport Trailsport. But before we get into this off-road credentialed mid-size two-row crossover SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So this Honda Passport is getting a lot of attention, not only with its new look, but also with what Honda has done to give it those off-road credentials. Now, when it comes to this class of vehicle, a lot of people would normally go towards the 4Runner. It's going to be the 4Runner of a TRD off-road spec. But when it comes to price, the TRD and the rest of the 4Runners have really gone up in price. But shocking, the pricing with this Honda Passport Trailsport, it may surprise you. So what I want to find out is this SUV of the year from Honda, and does it just destroy the competition? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this radiant red, very rare color. Good luck finding one, radiant red Passport Trailsport, and find out. Right off the bat, the redesign brings back the boxy style. Think about it, the Passport first came out in the 1990s. Man, was that a long time ago. But now, having that boxy style really brings it into the modern era of what people want in their SUVs. At the front of the business, you're gonna get full LED headlights, LED daytime running lamps that wrap around that are also your turn signals. And then look at the radiant red, that metal flake really has its sparkle like a ruby. Coming on down, you got LED fog lamps and all the perfect flat black that's gonna take a better beating. But right off the bat, the way they restyled this Passport, they did a phenomenal job. Now, as we come across the front grille, this has been a little bit of a hot point, a little bit of a debatable point. So you are gonna have your gloss black grille, fully functional up top with the Trailsport badge. You got the orange, which goes specifically with Trailsport. And then some people don't love this part. The Passport name has been embossed on the nose. I actually think it looks just fine. I have a bigger problem with this. This is that fake hood scoop. Why or why they would do that, I have no idea. But I don't mind the Passport. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section about the name being embossed in the bumper. Now, as we work our way down, the flat black with your active aero shutters that are gonna open and close, bring in the cooling air for your radiator. We do have some nicely painted metallic silver, and then notice how they angle cut the front end of the vehicle. They did that on purpose to give you a better approach angle, and they did something similar out back to give you a better departure angle as you're going up and over whatever obstacle is in front of you. You have 8.7 inches of ground clearance, so we have more ground clearance than your regular Passport, and we have stamped steel skid plates underneath. Can't be an off-road SUV without your recovery tow hooks, powder coated in that bright Trailsport orange. But definitely the face of this Passport, they really got it down nicely. Now, as we rise back up, we're gonna bypass the hood scoop. I've already said my piece about the fakeness of that hood scoop. I like the nice flat hood, and notice how high the hood sits. That helps with the overall boxy style to it. Now, when we come around the bend, when you go regular Trailsport, because remember, there's just 3 trims. 4Runner, there's a total of 9 trims. This has just 3, which makes sense. RTL, Passport, and then Passport Elite. This one's right smack dab in the middle as Passport Trailsport. The top trim is the Trailsport Elite. Does that make sense? They try to keep it simple. Now, on your standard Trailsport, these are the wheels. Good looking wheel. Dark satin black gunmetal metallic gray finish to it. what you're looking at wheel size, that's 18 inches in diameter, and then look at what we got. Real deal, first time ever, real deal general grabber all-terrain off-road tires. It's got the shielding protection, it's got the beefiness, the ruggedness to go off-road. You do have about an 1.5 inch lift over the Passport from the previous generation, and I'm okay with the flat black around the fender opening. I think that's to be expected on an actual off-roading SUV, whether it's a box frame like the 4Runner or this crossover SUV, which has the modular chassis. But let me know what you think about the wheel style with our Radiant Red. I think it looks really radiating. Now, as we come down the side, you do have your gloss black on your mirror caps, LED turn signals. The thing that kind of bothers me is that, yes, you just have 3 trims, but to get the forward-facing Trail Watch camera, you got to go with the top trim. So this Trailsport, even though it's off-road worthy, does not have a forward-facing camera. That's a bit of a zonk. Now up top, you do get those raised roof rails. You get your crossbars. You can put just about anything up top. Gloss black on the door handles, not my favorite, I'll be honest. I don't know why they put gloss black on door handles. What are your thoughts on it? But you do have that nice flat black on the lower sill extensions there. Now coming towards the rear, they wanted to really up the ante on versatility. So a lot of times if you're going fishing, you're going camping, you have big, tall items that you need to lean somewhere, you can lean it against your Passport because of the flat black here. And they still did a good job giving you a good sized rear quarter glass. Coming towards the end of this Passport Trailsport, you do have a stubby roof spoiler in the flat black. And then with the wiper, it's one of those things that it's got nowhere else to go. So I kind of understand why it's here, because you can't really hide it underneath that stubby roof spoiler. You do have, just like up front, love that LED taillights, your Trailsport badge, nice and big and prominent. A little bit of gloss black, but then the Passport name cleanly embossed in the lower area of the lift back. Working our way down, you got your full tow hookup, easy to get to, everything nice and high, out of the mud, out of the dirt, and then you have that metallic gray painted on the bottom portion. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering this Passport. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts underneath the hood. This is really going to be the big selling point, where a lot of other brands are going 4-cylinder turbo, naturally aspirated V6, and it is the updated V6 like you find in the Honda Pilot. So in this Passport Trailsport, it's a 3.5 liter V6, 285 horsepower, 282 pound-feet of torque. It is bolted to a 10-speed automatic transmission, 0 to 60 in about 7.1 seconds. Top speed is governed to 115 miles an hour. The vehicle weighs 4,700 pounds. MPGs around 18 in the city, 23 on the highway, and you could tow up to 5,000 pounds with this Passport Trailsport. Of course, you have your all-wheel drive to get the power to the ground, which it could send up to 70% of the power to the rear wheels. And you got that 10-speed automatic. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and hear what this V6 sounds like. All right, guys, we are inside this 2026 Honda Passport Trailsport trim. Remember, there's 3 trims: RTL, Passport, and Passport Elite. Now, I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I need a new SUV. I only want 2 rows. I don't want a third row. I have no need for it. How much is this Passport Trailsport? Well, this particular one, the weight at its option is right at $50,000. Let's see what you get for your money when you go Honda Passport. To the door panels, love the clean style. You have soft touch material up top. Then you're gonna have that cool, like almost like techno rocky mountain trim going on there. It's flat black, so no fingerprints. In the center though, when you go standard Passport, it is cloth. Now it is out of the way, but it is cloth in the center. Nicely padded armrest with the contrast stitching. Of course, you have to have your off-road Twinkie holder in the center, 5 off-road Twinkies, and you have a bottle opener holder for your Yeti can. And then down below is where you can fill it up with about 25 Pop-Tarts. Make mine strawberry with frosting. Now going from the door panel to the dash, soft touch material. You do have the cloth, but like I said, it's not really bothering me too much. I don't love it, but I also don't hate it. I do like the orange stitching. And you do have a pocket perfect here for, I would say, about 6 Costco hot dogs, which remember, you could get a Costco hot dog for $1.50. Slide on in, we got 12.3 inches, not of hot dog, but of infotainment system screen. I love the Google Maps, the clarity. You got the Google Assistant, wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto. You have the ability to move the icons around, like always, with your Honda vehicles. And just very intuitive, very simple to use. The zonk is there's no Trailsport camera out front. But of course, when you go into reverse, there's your backup camera. You do have trajectory, which is nice. And the resolution it's pretty good. It could be better, but I definitely have seen worse. Nice wide angle there. And then I put it back into park. And this is exactly where we started. You got your red illuminated engine start stop button. You do have dual climate control. I love the orange trim. 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats on this particular Passport. You got a place where you could put 2 boxes of candy cigarettes, 2 USB-Cs, a 12-volt wireless charging, and this is where you could get your payday on. 5 payday bars. This is going to control your 10-speed automatic. We have our drive modes, which I'll show you that when you come to the business side. Hill descent control, 2 cup holders. There's that Colorado Rocky techno design style looking good. Soft touch, open it up. Look at all the room in there. You could put, I would say, 2 of those fuel ups from KFC. That gets you 2 pieces of chicken, a biscuit, mashed potatoes, and some cherry pie bites. Put 2 of those in there. And from what I understand, they're $7. So, splurge. Seats, the soft touch, the Trailsport embroidery, the orange. You do have some cloth on the seats, but like I said, it's a nice balance. Power seats for the passenger. Power seats, of course, for the driver. Nice dark headliner. And we have that ginormous power shade for a panoramic sunroof. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the wheel that doesn't have your name on it. It has the Trailsport name on it. Come on over. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You do have 2 memory seat settings for the driver's seat. So if you're lucky enough to have a friend, you can let them borrow yours. I'm lucky enough to not only have a friend, I have a best friend. You know who my best friend is? No, it's not Steven. It's Latte Lori, of course. Duh. Seat controls, easy to get to. Lower lumbar. We got the Trailsport branded all-weather floor mats. That's worth an extra 5 horsepower. Seats are comfy. They're supportive. And then I could actually lower the seat. Look how much room I have in here. I'm 6 feet tall. That's a lot of room. Steering wheel, the leather, the crisscross applesauce orange stitching. There's the Trailsport badge. Got a little bit of orange, flat black on the switch gear. You do have paddles to go up and down that 10-speed automatic transmission. It is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then you have that 10.25-inch digital gauge cluster. Here's my different modes. Look at all the modes. I got more modes than freaking I've ever seen on any vehicle here. Unbelievable. Tow, sand, trail, snow, econ, normal, sport. You know how we roll. We roll sport. But very easy to read, very nicely laid out. The other thing you don't get when you go regular Passport, Trailsport, is no HUD head-up display. But let's get to that back seat and see how large it is in this Passport. All right, guys, back seat time, and this is where a 2-row midsize really flexes its muscle. There's tons of room back here. Once again, I'm not even close to the headliner. And then you'll notice the seats, just like up front, looking good. with the orange trim. Large pockets, look at that. You could easily slide a pair of Jordans in there. You know, there's some people, I get it, man. I get these sneakerheads. They walk around with toothbrushes and little wet wipes so that if they get any smudges on their Jordans, they're... I've heard of people getting killed because they stepped on somebody's Jordans. Don't do that. A little bit of a command center. You got your AC vents. Would have been nice to have actual AC controls back here. You can see they were thinking about it. They're like, ooh, let's put it here. And then they're like, nah, let's not. 2 USB-Cs, home power source. Seats are comfy. They don't recline and they don't slide. So let me know how you feel about that. I know some people, when they're in the back seat, they want to get their sliding action on, you know, they're just like, but you can't because there's no sliding ability of the seats. But then you have this nicely padded armrest with 2 cup holders. So they kind of make up for it, I guess. But let's get in that cargo area because I want to take it for a spin in this Passport. All right, guys, time to get in that cargo area. Gonna hit the button, nice electric assist. Now, what I love about this compared to the Pilot is with it being a 2-row, look at how much room you have just having the rear seat and not a 3rd row. So you're looking at 44 cubic feet of space. That is a ton. Fold down the rear seats, which is a 60-40 split, that's gonna give you 80 cubic feet of space. You got cargo area places for boxes of Twinkies. You do have a home power source, and you even have a place for a gallon of Yoo-Hoo on both sides. So think about that. Get your Chips Ahoy, get your Oreos, get your Nella wafers, load them up, and then you have 2 gallons of Yoo-Hoo. You could go out in the middle of the woods and live forever, just on that. And then having the all-weather protection is wonderful with the Passport name embossed, just like outside. See how it says Passport? And then lift this up. Love the way you have the storage areas. This is really, really neat how they maximize room. That's where you could just put all the golden delicious Twinkies underneath there. And then you do have a spare as well. And don't forget the Easter eggs. That's always a big thing with car companies now. It's not about performance, it's about how many little Easter eggs can you put everywhere. But why don't we go ahead? Like I said, we got a V6 naturally aspirated engine underneath the hood. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go for a drive in this Passport. All right, guys, we left AutoNation Honda in Clearwater. We're inside this 2026 Honda Passport Trailsport. Right away, you are gonna be super impressed with this interior. I mean, they have really upped the ante and upped their game on the exterior and the interior, and of course, the off-road capability of this vehicle. Having that nice large 12.3-inch infotainment system well within reach with the Google Maps and the Google Assistant brings the technology that a lot of people are wanting, wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, of course. And with the digital gauge cluster, the fact that there's so much information that can be displayed at any time, from the all-wheel drive torque distribution to pitch and roll, and even like you saw when we first started recording, the Google Maps can be displayed inside that area. So to me, that really shows Honda focusing on not only the off-road capability of the Passport Trailsport, but also just the technology in the Passport alone. Pricing, I think, is spot on, especially when you look at the 4Runner. The 4Runner pricing has gotten out of control. TRD Pros, you're looking at $67,000. So it really shows also how Honda's trying to bring a value to this Passport, especially the Passport Trailsport. And remember, if the Trailsport isn't your thing, you could go RTL. That brings a lot of great equipment, even though that is your entry level into the Passport. But visibility is great. You got that nice wide flat hood that gives you a good visual reference point as you're driving down the road or you're pulling into a parking lot. And then of course, the good size of real estate of the mirrors on the side of the vehicle really allow you to be able to navigate very cleanly and not just be confined by blind spots. But the seats are comfy. You got your manual adjustments to really make it perfectly set to how you want to feel behind the wheel. And then with the all-wheel drive, 70% of the power being sent to the rear wheels. But let's go on throttle. On throttle, here we go. You have that V6, nice linear torque delivery. And then you also have all the different modes. And they really up the game on the amount of modes that you have as well, including sand and tow, which is nice in a vehicle like this, because a lot of people are gonna have those smaller boats or jet skis, something like that, that they're gonna wanna tow, and it's nice to have the mode that goes with exactly what you're doing. But I think at the end of the day, the thing that I noticed the most about this Trailsport trim of the Passport, it doesn't feel floaty, it's not bouncy, and I don't feel like a rubber duck in a bathtub just kind of sloshing around. It's still very composed, even though the suspension has been tuned for more off-roading capability, and it still drives and rides really great, even though you are on off-road spec tires. But with the V6, and of course, good brakes, because here in Florida, you just never know when somebody's gonna do something silly. Even with those off-road tires, you're not getting a lot of road noise, which is good, but they are the real deal off-road spec tire. And then of course, in this shade of red, I really think it looks great. I mean, to be honest with you, I haven't seen a color I haven't liked on the Passport Trailsport. I mean, white is always so-so, and that's the most common color, but with the reds and the orange and the greens, I mean, it just really kind of gives the vehicle a little bit more of that sort of off-road personality. But I'm hoping that this has been a good overall review of this new Passport. We're gonna get back to see Ricky at AutoNation Honda in Clearwater, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at AutoNation Honda in Clearwater. Definitely got to thank Ricky and the rest of the crew getting us access to this red, very interesting shade of red. Very hard to find on these Passport Trailsports. But now let me know what you think. Would you consider this SUV of the year? And is it the one that you would buy over the competition? Let me know in that comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raise Rise family. Got to give it up to Latte Lori. What can I say? She's caffeinated. She's working that camera like the amazing videographer that she is. And she's just all around a great person and loves dogs. Thank you, Latte Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.